Well, greetings and hello there once again, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars Dad, Nooch Do Good. And as we go through this we navigate the new Galaxy of Heroes landscape with Lightspeed bundles and so much happening in the game. And then you're all missing Zetas, we're all missing Omicrons, we all need Omegas, we need a lot of stuff. What are some low investment farms that can really benefit your account? Some farms that you can go and do that will not require a ton of Zetas, a ton of Kyrotechs. You know, what are some farms you can do while you're improving your roster, while you're working on new stuff? You know, as you get ready for Galactic Legends, you got to hoard your Zetas. What's a farm you can do? We're going to talk about 5, a little bit more of those right now. So let's just jump right in and start with Imperial Troopers, because I know I harp on these guys a lot as maybe the best early game team you can invest in for Galactic War, for other reasons, getting yourself to Executor, a lot of reasons. But I see a lot of rosters that have pushed themselves for an Executor, that have a Relic Admiral Piet, and haven't upgraded any other Imperial troops. And guess what? If you've got a Relic 8 Admiral Piet and you've got at least Emperor's Trap, he really needs both the Zetas, especially to make your Executor work well. But if you've done all that work, why not go and invest in the rest of the Veers Trooper team? You can go and get General Veers, Colonel Stark, Range Trooper, maybe Dark Trooper, maybe Moff Gideon. Dark Trooper and Moff Gideon do require some additional, like, Kyrotechs. They need a lot of Kyrotechs. They're Kyrotech hogs, later characters. You don't really need their Zetas, so to speak, to work on the Imperial Trooper team. I've got Moff Gideon's Unique on here just for a Gidme counter, and I've got Dark Trooper. His Zeta is on this, if he has less than 3 stacks of Dark Trooper, gains 1 stack of Dark Trooper. It's a nice to have, but not a requirement. The General Veers Zeta is also not a requirement. So if you've already done the work to invest in Admiral Piet for your Executor, why not go get General Veers? All you need is 100 Kyrotechs to get to Relic level, and you could probably even function as I do with General Veers at Gear 12 for a long time. Colonel Stark, you can take him to Gear 12 and work with him for a long time as well. You'll eventually Relic him for sure to get to Sith Eternal, or maybe because you just want the team to function better. But both those characters, Veers, Stark, and over there, Range Trooper, and down there, Snow Trooper, Storm Trooper, Short Trooper, Magma Trooper, Death Trooper, none of them require any Kyrotechs at all until you take them to Relic levels, till you take them to Gear 13. They don't need any Kyrotechs to get to Gear 12. So keep that in mind. And by the way, also secondarily, we'll talk about, let's add Iden Versio into this conversation as well. A lot of you have already taken Iden Versio, and you've already put on her Omicron, and you've already put on her Zeta. I don't know, that's Omicron, this one is Zeta, okay? You've already added one and or both of those. You've got her geared up. She does require 400 Kyrotechs like all new characters, but Iden Versio, if you've already done the Omicron, you've already done the Zeta, you can go with Snow Trooper, Storm Trooper, Short Trooper, Magma Trooper, Death Trooper, and none of them require any Zetas. Range Trooper, Stark, no Zetas. Stark, Range Trooper, Snow Trooper, Storm Trooper, Short Trooper, Magma Trooper, they don't require any Zetas to work effectively in the game, and they all seven of those only need 100 Kyrotechs when you take them to Relic levels. And you could, by the way, if you got Iden Versio done, you got her Relic, you could take a bunch of Gear 12 troopers out there and upgrade them. Got a really nice team on your hands with the things she does for troopers. I mean, the uniques, the leaders she gives out, 35% critical chance, offense and speed. They're going to be recovering, where is it here? Where is it? In Grand Arena, they also have 35% max health and protection. They recover 20% health and protection and gain 10% turn meter, blah, 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 blah. They're a really beefy, good team to have out there. So that's my first recommendation, especially if you've already invested in a Piet or you've already got stuff invested in Iden Versio, invest in the rest of the team. It's a cheap investment, low Kyrotechs, low Zeta investment for your roster. Hey, while we're talking about Executor, let's go over to those ships and let's talk about that Executor farm a little bit. Let's take a look at our journey guide. Executor and Profundity both don't really need a lot of Zetas or other requirements. Darth Vader, Kyrotechs, I mean. Darth Vader, you've probably already got Merciless Massacre on him, at least. Congratulations. Piet, you are adding Zetas for him. You do need Kyrotechs for him. He's a newer character, and you want him as good as possible, as high galactic power as possible to command your ship. Boba Fett, you know, his Zeta is a little bit more than a nice to have. It's a really good to have. but you can get by without it. Dengar, you don't need the Zeta. IG-88, don't need Zeta. Bosk, you do need his leadership Zeta and probably his second Zeta as well down the road, especially if you're going to be using the Houndstooth. Well, you're using Houndstooth with here the Executors, so it makes the Houndstooth that much better. You're going to need Beskar Mando, and you will need Cad Bane as well. But let's look at these characters as far as Kyrotechs, and how many of them need Kyrotechs before they get to level 12. Again, it's just Piet and it's just Beskar Mando. Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Dengar, IG-88, Bosk, Cad Bane. Don't need any Kyrotechs invested in them until you get them to Gear 13. And it seems a little weird to say that the Executor is a cheap investment, because it's not a cheap investment. But honestly, compared to other farms you got out there, going for Gungans, you need like a gazillion Kyrotechs. You're going for Cal Kestis, gazillion Kyrotechs. Going for Jabba, Lord Vader, Jedi Master Kenobi, Jedi Master Luke, gazillion Kyrotechs. This is what you can do with a much more limited Kyrotech investment on your roster, and not even have to invest a ton of Zetas as well. It's a farm you can work on in the background while you're doing other farms. The two big Kyrotech hogs, Admiral Piet and Beskar Mando. Beskar Mando needs 500. Him and Mon Mothma, and I think there's somebody else. Saw Gerrera, maybe? They need the most Kyrotechs in the game. They're brutal on your Kyrotechs, but you can get by on this farm without the other characters don't need a lot of Kyrotechs, and not a lot of Zetas on these characters as well. The same thing can be said for Profundity on your roster, and I'm doing that today, but Radis, of course, needs Relic 9. He's heavy Kyrotechs. He's gonna need his Zetas. I'm gonna go into this event without the Zetas to see if I can get it done, but Cassian, Dash Rendar will need Kyrotechs, but Mon Mothma needs Kyrotechs. Maybe this is not quite as heavy, but Biston, Jyn Erso, Harrison, Dula, you don't need a lot of Kyrotechs. You're gonna get the Rebel Y-Wing. You don't need Kyrotechs for that. It's just a ship. Wedge Antilles, Biggs, you don't need Kyrotechs for them. A lot of their K2SO, nope, they're low Kyrotechs. All the Phoenix for Ghost and Phantom, you don't need a lot of Kyrotechs for those characters. So something to consider. Mainly, Executor's a little better than that, I would think. So, hey, how about we look at your Phoenix? A lot of you guys have bought bundles, and you're investing in Phoenix. You know, as far as just Zeta work, I've added 3 Zetas here. Hera, Kanan, and Sabine. I've added the Omicron for Hera for Territory Wars. You could do that as well. But you can get by on this team really with just a Captain Rex Zeta. So you could put together a Phoenix team with just one Zeta on the team, and it'll be a very, very good team. The other Zetas will definitely enhance the team and make it better, but one Zeta and only one character in Captain Rex, it requires a bunch of Kyrotech farming. The other guys are the same as we've been saying. They only need Kyrotechs when they go to Gear 13. This is if you have not farmed Phoenix and you're free to play and you did not have access to the Shadows of the Empire bundle, and you want to farm a great team that's an early game team, this is all the way from a new player to end game. This is an amazing team to have on your roster, and it is going to be low resource investment for your roster as well. I love the Phoenix out here. That's another low resource investment for us. Hey, let's talk about Geos. It's another one. The bundle did come out, but if you didn't buy the bundle and you want to invest in a very effective new player up through, I'm going to say mid-game team, even maybe edging into the late game, and that can still cause problems for people sometimes. You can farm this team. None of them need Kyrotechs till they get to Gear 12, so it's 500 Kyrotechs only. You can do Geobird Alpha only really needs one Zeta on Queen's Will. I've got them both on here. You don't really need that second Zeta, so the team requires 500 Kyrotechs, one Zeta, and if you want to really help your guild out during Territory Wars, and Omicron on Pago the Lesser, and that's all you're going to need. A low investment team are the Geos. You get them up there, you get them geared up, they're going to work for you all the way from the new game to mid-game / early late game, and then they become a cleanup team for you sometimes, but they do fade over time. I'd imagine we'll see a new Geo here at some point. I'm looking for that Geo lifter to come out here soon enough. Let's talk about one more team here that a lot of you guys, where am I here? Where am I going to sit? A lot of you guys have invested in a Savage Opress Omicron, but you've only got them at gear 9, 10, 11, 12. A Darth Treya Omicron and a Zeta, but you only got her at gear 9, 10, or maybe only have her 6 stars. I see a lot of rosters where people have already invested in those Zetas and Omicrons on those two characters right there, but they haven't geared up Darth Sion. Maybe Darth Cylon, I don't know, maybe he wants to be cool like Darth Nihilus, Darth Cylon. Maybe he wants to be part of Battlestar Galactica, he wants to be Darth Cylon. Darth Sion, Darth Nihilus, they haven't really invested in those characters, but they've got Omicron sitting here and they've got Zeta sitting here. Finish it off, man. The rest of it, you don't need Zetas on Scion or Nihilus. They're low Kyrotech farms again for you. You can look at a 5th member. I kind of like throwing Darth Vader in there. Darth Vader does a lot of extra damage under a Trey Elite, and you've already got Darth Vader on your roster, I'm pretty darn sure. So that's another low investment team that's out there for you to really push your roster forward and make some great things happen. Let's take one last look here at some Galactic Legend farming that has the lowest level of farming. We've talked about this before with our Kyrotech farming guide, but if you want to look at a low Kyrotech, low Zeta environment for investing in a Galactic Legend, you're going to look at these 3 right here. It's going to start with Sith Eternal. I mean, you can get by with this Galactic Legend with a Zeta on Vader, a Zeta on Palpatine lead, no Zetas there. Piet, you'll need Zetas on for the Executor. You need 1 Zeta for that Imperial Trooper team. Krennic, no. Sidious, not really. You used to need the Zeta for the event. I think you can get by without it now. Maul, not really. Count Dooku, nope. Sith Marauder, nope. Imperial TIE Bomber is not a character that needs a Zeta. Jenna Anakin, no Zeta needed unless he's on a Padme team. Thrawn, you can probably get by without the Zeta. Grand Moff Tarkin, no. Veers and Stark, we already talked about. You don't need Zetas on those. Very low Zeta, very low Kyrotech farming for Sith Eternal Emperor, and I've mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. If you've been farming for any amount of time in the game at all, you're probably halfway to Sith Eternal already in the game. Kylo and Rey are similar stories. That's a little bit more farming for them, but you can get by without a lot. You need the Hux Zeta, and you really need Kylo Ren Unmasked, what's it called? Scarred Zeta, and the rest of them are extra. If you want to get that First Order TIE Pound Omicron, you can. That and Captain Phasma have kind of faded over time, although my guild still uses Captain Phasma in Territory Wars for the time being, and we're like 320, 330 million, something like that in our guild. So we are using Phasma, but it's not required. You can get by with you can really get by with SOKR Zetas, Scarred on KRU, and Admiral Hux's Zeta. That's all you really need on this team. And the same can be true for Rey. You need Rey's Zetas, obviously, but you can get by without a lot of Zetas on this roster. In fact, maybe Jedi training Rey with a couple. And other than that, you know, I guess the heroes are kind of nice to have, but they're not required. You can get by with this team with missing a lot of Zetas, which I am missing, and I'm getting holds on defense with the right Datacron in there and everything. So there's 3 low-hanging fruit Galactic Legend, low investment farms for you. And there you go. There's 5+ low investment farms for your roster for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. You can do these in between your heavy Kyrotech or heavy Zeta. If you want to do a farm and save up some Zetas for your next big farm, you're hoarding Zetas so you can get something done, go do one of these farms and invest a few Zetas in it along the way. And yeah, and you'll be better off for it. Have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Maybe I'm missing something. Am I missing anything here? I don't know. If I'm missing a low investment farm, let me know. I'm sure there's something I'm missing or I forgot about. Love to hear about it. Put it in comments. Maybe you'll get pinned in the message. Always remember, Nooch too good.